Stop existing outside of yourself and start existing within yourself. On today's fun activity that will bring forth your self development tips, progress, positive progress, we're going to talk about the art of catching yourself. The activity of catching myself. How to catch yourself in the act. Yeah, it could be red-handed, and I want to suggest and recommend better red-handed than green-handed. One of the benefits of catching yourself is you are able to identify the patterns. And that is progress. That is the first step of anything you want to change. A mindset shift is catching yourself and realize these are the thoughts that I do not want. So maybe you're thinking, sometimes I do speak negatively about myself, but you don't know. You're not aware. It's an assumption. But once you put the practice and say, I'm going to catch myself talking negatively, you put your subconscious and be on alert. Anytime you speak negative, let your brain goes, alarm, ring the alarm, ring the alarm. So you can find yourself and you're like, oh, it is just the first day and I've already called myself the most ugliest of things in the world. It's when you catch yourself and be able to change. To catch yourself, if you have seen, I'm going to put the link of the description box about the most underrated habit on self-growth and self-love is keeping promises to yourself. And you have to catch yourself not keeping the promises you've made. For example, you said, you know what, every time I wake up, I'm going to jump 5 times. And you don't jump 5 times. You have to catch yourself in the lie and say, oh my God, I'm lying. I am a liar. And that catching yourself, identifying, you're able to shift, you're able to make a choice. In our minds, we have so many random thoughts of coming, music, maybe poetry, art. There are a lot of thoughts, maybe fantasies, I don't know what. And you have to choose the thought that works for you, a positive thought. And that happens when you catch yourself. Catching yourself makes you aware and makes you become in tune with yourself and not outside yourself. Sometimes people live outside themselves. Like your mind is outside and your body is here. I'm going to tell you a brief story. I used to know a bully. I still know her. She was a bully. She's not dead. She's alive, but she was those times a bully, but not the physical bully of I'm going to hit you blows, give me your money, oh send me. No, emotional bully. She could tell you words like mean words, you would cry. I know words have no weight, but her words pierce through, you will cry. Anyways, so I used to tell her what you said was really mean, and she was like, I didn't say it. Her intentions were very precious. Like, no, I was just telling her that the skirt and the trouser she wore does not fit or match. But she would say it in the more crude and cruel way, which will sound off mean and come off as bullying or body shame. So I said, you have to find and catch yourself saying those things, because sometimes we say things without listening. We have not activated our ears. We have not activated our ears to our mouth. So we just speak. Let's say, catch yourself saying anything to someone and see if it is mean to you, if you consider it mean. So I don't know if she did, but one time we were with her and she said something very mean. And I looked at her like this, like in the movie. And she looked at me. And it dawned on her. And she was, because for the first time she heard it. She heard herself saying that mean thing. And maybe I helped her catch herself, but she caught herself saying that thing. I wish she cried. I wish you could have cried, like when Peter, after denying Jesus, realized, oh my God, I've denied Jesus after he said, I will deny him, and I didn't mean to deny him. Oh my God. I wish she had looked at me and cried like that and said, oh God. Anyway, trust myself to put myself in such a situation. Yeah. But it's catching yourself and realizing, oh, I do say mean words. And catching yourself maybe towards saying the mean words and be like, even catching yourself works. For example, if you're a woman and you're near, your periods, menstrual, and you're like, anytime I'm on my periods, I do get angry. Some so and so pisses me off. That is you catching yourself. That is you identifying a pattern. And you identify a pattern because you're conscious enough and you're willing enough to catch yourself doing those things. So guess what? Next time your period comes, you'll be on more alert and be like, no, maybe this emotion I'm going to hold off. You have taken my cup of water, but let me just chill down and realize if this is an issue, because you're catching yourself. Most of us, when people tell us their problem, maybe let's say 90%, we are more likely to put ourselves in that situation instead of just listening. That's a topic on another day, of trying to take ourselves out of situation instead of putting yourself. So for example, if someone tells you a problem they're undergoing, you're more likely to see yourself in that problem instead of just listening like an outside character watching in, like a third party watching through the window. You're more likely to put yourself, and that does not work. But on today, the benefit of catching yourself is identifying trends and patterns. It helps you to shift focus into a positive way. When you realize, okay, these the thoughts I am thinking, are these the images I am keeping. Sometimes you're on a self cleansing journey, and then your mind just gives you random thoughts of very dirty things in your mind. You have to say, I rebuke you. I rebuke you, images. Where are you coming from? Can you give me an image of sunflower and oceans and the butterflies and the birds? What's wrong with you? It's catching yourself. When you're catching yourself, you're able to tune your thoughts, maybe into the positive or how you want. You have to be in tune yourself. It makes you live in the present and not to fantasize. For example, okay, I'm not sure if I have ADHD or it works for people who have ADHD, but I realized that sometimes I do not pay focus or attention. So somebody can tell me, can be telling me something, maybe even a sad story of their life, and my mind is thinking, what outfit would go with a black trouser? I really want to wear yellow. I've already switched off my attention. But because I'm in the journey of catching myself, especially red handed, and I tell myself, you gorgeous babe, someone here is talking. Open your ears. Where you head, you will think about it later. You will. The art of catching yourself. It helps in your self-worth journey, self-love. If you want to be even more confident, you have to realize, okay, because someone has said this, just that statement has made me feel low. Why? You catch yourself. And okay, most of us, before we put anything there, we have to think of the audience and think, what will people see? Will people um, go with the flow? Or, for example, if you want to do content creation, you shot a video. Instead of you posting the video after editing or whatever you're going to do, start thinking, will people zoom on my eyebrows? Will people zoom on my lips? What will they say if my sound is not good enough? Or what will they say if they say I laugh too much or my hands are too... You have to catch yourself in that and realize and say, okay, I don't want to care what any other person say because I'm giving value. So I'm going to give value without thinking about what other people might say or would say. Now you start the journey of catching yourself. To catch yourself means before you post and you're thinking, should I post it? But still people say this content is outdated. These days people do this, do this. You have to catch yourself and find things that will deter or counter or replace the thoughts that you have caught yourself in. Are we together? If this has resonated with you, do subscribe, like, and in the comment section, tell me one thing you want to catch yourself on. I might help you, assist you, and cheer up and maybe remind you a little bit how you've been doing. Anyway, see you next time. Be kind to yourself and others.